Okay, I didn't realize that wasn't a cave.
I don't think Formula One races go through caves.
I looked like a
It'd be
tunnel.
cool. It'd be cool if they did though.
Let's try this view. This is really
That
impressive, this
almost look
view.
that almost looks like a top-down racer.
Yeah, like a lot of those other like Super Nintendo racing games we've tried.
It oh, what was that? What was that one? Uh, like top-down racing game on the PlayStation that I played. What was that called?
I think I remember which one you're talking about. I don't remember what it was called either. I think you were getting frustrated with it, if I remember correctly. You were getting
Yes,
mad
I
at
was
you were getting
getting
mad at it.
frustrated with it. Let me see what it's. Let me
Um,
see what it's called.
but one thing I was gonna say was, when it comes to like trying to demake Gran Turismo and still like, I wonder, like the Top Gear games don't use a lot of 3D, but they have like the behind the car perspective. Um, and so like, why do I keep making the mistake? I think that's like in the virtual racing mode. That's like the pit or something. But you know, the Top Gear games on Super Nintendo, they have a behind the car perspective, but they're all 2D, and I wonder like, I mean, if for somebody Gran Turismo, what makes Gran Turismo isn't so much the physics as it is like the very expansive career mode and all the different cars and tracks and styles of races or whatever like that. If you did that kind of, if you did that kind of graphical style, maybe you could have like a 16-bit Gran Turismo.
Maybe.
You'd be compromising a lot of the physics, but you'd be able to keep a lot of the content.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Because when I think of Gran Turismo, but I'm pretty, as you can no doubt tell when it comes to my driving here, that I'm pretty casual when it comes to racing games. Um, uh, when I play Gran Turismo, um, or when I think of Gran Turismo, I often think of the career mode. I often think of just like being able to collect all of these different real cars and all of like the maintenance stuff, the tuning and all that.
Mm.
And there's plenty of Super Nintendo games that are very deep in their mechanics like that. Like the it's not a racing game, but the Mech Warrior game can be like that. There's
Yeah.
a lot of strategy games kind of have a lot of
Mm.
like menus.
Yeah. The idea of like the Gran Turismo games is to be like a car life simulator. It's like you've got the physics, you've got like all like the cars, like even like different models of the same car, so you get like five different iterations of the Mazda MX-5, for example. It's, and and there's even like details like engine braking and engine wearing, and also like the chassis rigidity of the cars like wearing out eventually, and then you like need to maintain all of that. uh
That's what
so
you see that flip.
yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't like
So
first
oh,
person
this
mode.
this game has damage. This game has damage. Like I can kind of like see, yeah, like the front wing is kind of like slanted. Oh,
Yeah, I mean the first person mode was something like really revolutionary at the time. I mean I can't tell you if virtual racing was the first to do it. I don't think it was. to like be able to transition between so many different views, but that was a big thing with the game, having so many different like camera angles to choose from. But I don't think the first person perspective, at least on the Genesis version, is very practical. Look at how like everything just smears together. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know when I'm on the grass and when I'm not on the grass. Like this view seems to be the most optimal one considering the graphical limitation.
Yeah, the lower frame rate doesn't help either. Also, the camera is like rigid on. I'm trying to figure out a way how to explain this, but it's like rigid on like the kind of not I guess rotation of like the car. So for example, if you go in like a banked corner, the when the car kind of like tilts with like the road, the camera falls, and it's a little bit distracting.
I'm kind of getting.
I mean, that's.
I'm kind of getting the hang of it. This track actually, I think, is probably the best. Like the best of the three. As far as like.
You see what I mean there? Kind of like the camera falls exactly where like the car is. Like
It almost looked like it tilted sideways. Like the angle tilts sideways. There's definitely like an emphasis on trying to like on a cinematic presentation here that isn't altogether practical.
that could also like be the limitations of the Genesis as well, to be fair.
Yeah, so I didn't let go of the acceleration there, and you kind of saw how the turn went. So it is a lot. It is a lot like that, getting that timing down of letting go of the acceleration and then pressing it down again, like again very similar to the grip cars on R4.
Yeah. Seem very understeery. Oh. How far could you demake BeamNG?
Well, BeamNG is not even really a game. It's more of like an engine. It's kind of there for you to make your own racing game. That's how I understand it. But people just use it to mess around. One thing I was trying to say earlier was also when it comes to demaking Gran Turismo, that idea is, I'm not like, music is a big part of a Gran Turismo because of all of the licensed music that's in all the games. But how much space does that actually take up on the disc, I
wonder? I'm not sure.
Because I don't think they're MP3s.
No, they'll probably be MP3s. I mean, the menu music, like all of the music that's not the racing music, that'll be MIDI. But the racing music will absolutely be MP3s. You could probably like make like MIDI versions of like the Daiki Casho tunes, which aren't licensed. They're made specifically for the game.
Well, like the result music, right? Stuff like that. Those original weird where it's obviously the composer working with keyboards and stuff. the SNES and Genesis supported sampling, so you could sample a lot of those same instruments, those same keyboards and drum machines and everything that are used in the stock music, the non-licensed music of Gran Turismo.
You could, but
It might be a little
if
crusty.
there were to be, if there were to be like a remake of Gran Turismo, that'd be boring, to be honest. I'd rather hear like if it's like a GBA like remake of Gran Turismo, I'd rather hear like a GBA sound font.
So you'd rather hear like a GBA, a GBA version of the feeder.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool. I mean, it would be possible. One thing, there actually are some games on Super Nintendo specifically that do that. Biometal, if I remember the name correctly, is a shoot 'em up game that, at least in the American version, I don't know if it was the case in the PAL region version as well. It advertised itself as having a soundtrack licensed from 2 Unlimited. So when you start the game, it's like, it's a compressed SNESified version of dun 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 dun. And they're pretty accurate renditions of the instrumentals by 2 Unlimited.
Yeah.
So the SNES,
I mean,
especially with the electronic music in Gran Turismo that doesn't have lyrics, it'd probably be very simple. Again, it would sound crusty, but you could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that would be a lot more of a problem on the NES, like the 8-bit systems, where there's like limitations on like how many instruments you can have.
Yeah, and it's all MIDI. It's all kind of MIDI based. It's using like the built-in sound fonts mostly. Whereas with the SNES and Genesis, that's when video game soundtracks started to have like sample based. Like Donkey Kong Country was all made using real like electronic instruments, and then just kind of taking the files and compressing them to fit them on the cartridge. It wasn't using any kind of built-in sound font. So you can track down the actual the exact models of keyboards that David Weiss and Evelyn Novakovic or however you pronounce her name, that they used. And that's how people were able to remake the soundtracks, to remaster the soundtracks using all of the original samples, because they sort of tracked down what instruments the samples came from.
Yeah.
We're putting this music on a CD. Something that's big in Japan for many, many years is game music on CD. Hasn't been a big hit in America because maybe the music hasn't been quite up to what you hear on the radio.
It's the I know the DS had a Guitar Hero port. I think that was like that.
I mean, if you play Elite Beat Agents on the DS, they have a Sum 41 song on there, and it has all the songs have lyrics.
Well, I remember hearing a Block Party song and the the DS version of Guitar Hero where it didn't. I could be wrong in that.
I wonder if there's some rights issues that go into that as well, where it's not so much a technology thing, because clearly, again, Elite Beat Agents and plenty of other DS games had songs with licensed songs or covers of licensed songs with lyrics on them. There's a Queen song in Elite Beat Agents. There's, as I said, a Sum 41 song, and it's all lyrics. They're covers. But I think there is kind of there might be licensing things where it's it's more expensive to license the song with the lyrics than without it, and to license the actual record as opposed to license a cover. I'm not sure, like, I don't know how the business end of all that works. I just know that Sony could always basically do whatever it wanted as far as music in the games went because, you know, Sony Music. That's why Wipeout that's why so many PlayStation games had, like, Wipeout and Gran Turismo and everything had those, you know, those soundtracks.
That's why like at least 5 PlayStation 2 games have a Kasabian song in the intro. In the Europe versions.
Unfortunately, that did become a nightmare for game preservation because those licenses run out. And if you're trying to re-release an old game that had a lot of licensed music in it, you know, you're going to run into some difficulty getting those licenses back so that you can port the game or remaster it in a way that where the soundtrack and the sound design is faithful. You know, Crazy Taxi had that issue.
Yeah. I don't see why they could just like, you know, like re-release or remake the game like without like any soundtrack and just have like people like mod the soundtrack back in themselves.
That is something that happened with Crazy Taxi, that where it has the later ports for PC and for other consoles had a separate soundtrack, but mods are very easy. It's very easy to mod the old soundtrack with the songs by Bad Religion and Offspring back into the game. It's not difficult at all, and everybody, SEGA knows that's what you're doing. Like, they don't care.
Yeah. I mean, with the PS3 era Gran Turismo games, you can, I know you can just like import your own like songs like from any sort of like CD that you've like burned on your PS3 or
yeah, I remember that. That was very easy to do during the 360 and PS3 era.
I've done that quite a lot.
The problem is, like, music record companies and stuff, they're very, like, it's like they're still dealing with the shell shock of Napster, so they've like gotten so like ruthless when it comes to copyright on music. And honestly, that's a big reason that a lot of digital copyright stuff is just so, like, the digital copyright law and everything is just so backwards. A lot of it is because of the digital copyright laws that were lobbied for by the music industry in the wake of, like, file sharing. So, you know, because the music companies in particular are especially protective and greedy, you know, everybody has to suffer.
You know, it's they've become like real. They've become like really hard and backwards on copyright, and it's not actually done anything. Like if anything, like it's become a lot more accessible to pirate these days.
6th place, not bad. All right, cool. PSY. The ranking is 19th. We did it. Instant replay. I want to check this out. Oh! I forgot about this. It actually has instant replay like this. Yeah, this is a Genesis game. Or a Genesis port of an arcade game. I can't see anything. I can't make anything out. But it's cool.
I mean, this is just like really impressive what they managed to do here. Almost, actually, almost reminds me of the flight simulator in Temple OS.
Yeah, it's got that same very low poly early 3D vibe.
Yeah, I love like the cloud background as well.
Yeah,
They're
that's
just like
that's straight
in
up.
one place. Yeah.
Yeah, the backgrounds are straight up 2D, like the far background environments.
Here's an icon. Let's see.
Composer's really jamming on that keyboard, isn't he? He's just jamming on that Casio.
It'll be Yamaha because the Yamaha sound chip.
Reminds me, like, whenever I remember always I had a little Casio keyboard growing up, but I also remember how popular Yamaha keyboards were in the early 90s. They were always like a prize on shows like Legends of the Hidden Temple and other kids like game shows. You win a keyboard
Remember
from Yamaha.
on the Casio keyboards called the Casio chord. Like if you learned like how to play piano in school, like you'd play on like a Casio keyboard, and you'd like specifically like learn how to use Casio chords instead of actually learning how to play the chords.
Speaking of Yamaha, I have a Yamaha keyboard that I need to set up. It's stuck in a box because my mom got it, and it's been in my room for like 2 years in a box that I just keep moving around because the stand for it broke, so I have nowhere to put it.
I've got a Yamaha digital piano with weighted keys.
Is it a
feels like a piano.
Is it a YPT 260?
Probably not. I'm gonna think.
'Cause that's the one I have, the one that's in the box.
It's a P45.
I'll need to see. You know what? We still have the stand. I think I'll need to ask my mom if like, I mean, I know it was the problem was they were trying to take it off and they kind of busted it, but I think you can still like place the keyboard on top of it. It's just not secure.
I mean, I've just got my big heavy digital piano just placed on any old stand unsecurely.